Pete, why are you so wonky? I thought I'd gotten rid of the wonky tripod. Hey Peeps, happy Friday. Welcome to the sewing studio. I think you can just about see, but there is a sewing machine in this table. Sewing machines are in the studio. So very happy. I am done. I am done organising my side of the room. Mum still has a lot of fabric to fold and then her bookcases to organise, but we are so close to being there, which is amazing, absolutely amazing. So you guys have been asking a few questions over the last couple of videos, and especially with the last sort of 4-day video that I put up, so I thought I would try and answer some of them now. Did we find Mum's laptop? Yes we did. It was at the bottom of one of the boxes of fabrics, and I don't know why I didn't tell you we found it at the time, but we did. I think it immediately got taken up to the main house, so maybe that was why. But yes, we found Mum's laptop. A lot of you have been asking about the doors that are going onto the bookcases over here. They are these. These are the doors that are going on the bookcases. We already owned them. They were in my last house. They are 4 Billy bookcases, but as you can see, they're see-through, so putting mirrors on these is not going to work. We just need to find the hinges for them, because when they took the hinges off, they left half of it on the bookcase and took them off separately, and they're in a plastic bag somewhere safe. So they're the clear Billy bookcase doors from IKEA. They were on my bookcases in my kitchen in my last place. I had put custom doorknobs on them. These blue glass ones were actually really expensive, and I've had them for over 20 years. I could have just taken the doorknobs off, but I decided to take the entire doors with me because I thought they would be useful in the sewing room, and they will be, because they will protect Mum's fabric at least from dust. Lots of you have been asking about my fabric and sunlight and dust. We are in a north facing structure. Well, the window on this is north facing. It's midday now and there is no sunlight streaming in, which is brilliant for fabric, so it won't get sun damaged, and especially that's why it's on this back wall. There was a point that I was going to put it on this side wall, but the back wall makes more sense because it's furthest away from the light source. It won't get sun damage, and it's also really good for filming for me because I won't be sitting here squinting at you if the sun peeks its little head out behind our clouds. It's an actually blue sky, no cloud kind of day today, so filming in my room, which is south facing, is quite difficult if it's not overcast. So yeah, this room is north facing, which is fine for sun damage of fabric, so it won't happen, and also good for filming. However, dust is going to be an issue. We are working with furniture that we already had when building this room. The only new thing that we've bought is the 5x5 cube that you saw us make the other day. That's the only new thing that's come into this room. Everything else is what we had in our previous house. We needed to make do with what we've got because we have a lot of furniture, as you know, as you can see. There was nowhere else for this furniture to go. It was always designated for the sewing studio, so that's why we've used and utilised the things that we have. My fabric before was in a wardrobe, a Pax wardrobe that was built into the last place, so it wasn't moving with us. As I say, we didn't want to buy anything new for this room if we could help it, which is why we didn't buy Pax wardrobes to put along this back, and we've used the cubes instead. So dust is going to be an issue, but it's one of those things. It's a compromise, and it's fine. I will dust. I will pre-wash fabric again if it needs it before I work with it, or I'll wash the garment after it's been made before I wear it if it's particularly dusty. But to be honest, I've never really noticed that, and I have kept fabric in these cubes before I moved to the last place and put it in a wardrobe, so it's one of those things. Dust is a fact of life, unfortunately, so I'll just deal with it as the problem arises. I've had quite a few people ask why I keep my patterns in these CD towers and don't put them in drawer units or filing cabinets and things like that. Again, we already had these, so we were utilising furniture that we already had. I have stored my patterns like this for years now, and it works for me. There are loads of different systems for storing your patterns. I really like Mimi G's system, where she takes the pattern envelopes and puts them into file folders to flick through, and then the guts of the pattern gets put into a brown manila envelope, gets labelled and gets filed away in a drawer system or a filing cabinet. I think she uses the Malm drawers from IKEA, and I love that system, but I don't have the furniture for it. I don't have the room to put the Malm system in, and this works for me. So I have separated my patterns. Used to be by company, but now I've separated them by type. So coats, jackets, boleros, vests, waistcoats. Then we're on to wrap dresses, strappy dresses, summer dresses, those kind of things. So I've separated them into categories and I have bunched everything together, and that's what works for me because that's what I'm used to. I know I've been saying this for a while now, I am going to upload all my patterns to my website, so I have an online database of my patterns as well. I happen to have a website, so I'm going to utilize it for pattern storage and curation and kind of ease of access. But there are systems like Trello, it's the only one I can think of, Evernote. There's loads of different online systems that you can use to organise your patterns. As I say, I happen to have a website and I'm going to utilise it for that. Hopefully it will be a good resource for you guys as well, because if I have made a pattern and done a review on it or a sew along, that will be linked in the pattern review, so you can go to my website, search for a pattern, see if I've made it and see if there's a blog post or a YouTube video or a sew along for it. That's the plan. It's one of those things that's going to take a really long time to do because I have a lot of patterns. And I did actually think I had room to add a few more for the next few seasons that come out, and I do have a room for a few more, but then I'm going to have to start getting really ruthless. And there are lots of patterns in here that I've either got free with sewing magazines, or people have sent me, or I've just kind of outgrown. So I'm going to start being ruthless and having culls of my patterns, because there are some things in there that whilst I really like them, I'm never actually going to sew them for me because they're not going to look right on me, and I need the space because there are always new and exciting patterns coming out. For example, the new Deer and Doe spring summer dresses. I have ordered both of those. They're on sale at the moment, 10% off the first week that they're out, and yeah, they're on their way because they are gorgeous. And yes, I have patterns that are very similar to them, but I really like Deer and Doe. I don't know if you can, I've got a lot of Deer and Doe patterns in there, I don't know if you can see any of them. Yeah, I really like Deer and Doe, so I want to support them as a company, and I do like those dresses, and they are different enough in small ways that I've decided that they deserve a place in my collection. Another question that I have been asked quite a lot is, why has mum only got a tiny corner and the rest of the room seems to be dedicated to me? Dressmaking and quilting are a couple of mum's many hobbies. She knits, there's gardening, there's quite a lot of other things that mum does as well, so it's not a full-time occupation for her as it is for me. This is my job. I do this for a living, 5 days a week. I mean, who am I kidding, 7 days a week, and it's my hobby as well as the paper crafting. The paper crafting did kind of take a bit of a backseat because I didn't really have a good place to do it, and I didn't have the ability to have all of my stuff in one place like I have here. So I'm hoping that the paper crafting is going to get taken up again. Mum wants to make a book with me for a friend, which I'm very excited about, so I'm glad that I've now got everything organised in one place, and hopefully that will mean that I will utilise it more and take up that hobby again, because I do miss it. It's how I started my YouTube channel. If you go back to my very first videos, I think 5 years ago, 6 years ago, they're all paper crafting videos. That's how what Kittenish Behaviour started out as on YouTube. So I am looking forward to having access to it all again and starting it all again. And then obviously I've got all my fabric and patterns and things in this back of the room and corner. So yes, I have taken up a vast majority of this room, and mum does have a corner, but we have enough space for all of mum's stuff, and if we don't, we shall make space for it. I've cleared out boxes and drawers and things so that there is more space for her to put things in. It's just how it's worked out. Mum has a lot less stuff than I do. She is not a collector of fabric in the same way that I am, and she's not a pattern collector in the same way that I am at all. She has access to all of these, and she's even joked that she's going to shop my stash if I go away. You'll basically be seeing me in here, some like, my precious, and never leaving the sewing room again. I mean, I know she wouldn't, but so yeah. Although, I mean, I have come down a couple of times and she's been rooting through different fabrics that I've left down there because she needed some to add to a project, and I have got a few cuts of fabric that are a lot shorter than when I bought them because she needed to add some more to the ones that she got, and she was making something more ambitious than the yardage she had. But you know, there's a lot in here that I won't share with her and I will fight her for, but the majority of it, you know, In fact, the majority of it I won't share it. I wouldn't share with anyone. But yeah, I like all my patterns, all of my supplies, all of my thread, anything that bags making supplies. It's all available to Mum as well. I think part of the reason that Mum enjoys dressmaking is because it's something that I do and that we do kind of together. I can hopefully help her with some things. She's not here at the moment. She is out getting her glasses prescription done because she had a tumble down the front steps the other day and broke her very fancy expensive glasses. They literally snapped in half, so she's been using an old pair and it's not great. So she's finally gone to the opticians to have an eye test and hopefully order a new pair of glasses. But I'll ask her when she comes back if she minds that I have put her in a corner, put baby in the corner, as it were. I've totally put Mum on the spot now. Yeah. But I was just saying to her, after yesterday's video, a couple of people have asked why you only have a tiny corner and the most of the room seems to be dedicated to me. And I've given an answer, but I just wondered what your two penneth was on that topic.
Oh dear. I actually have all the space that I need. I would only have a small room except I want for quilting, I want to have my large, what do you call
a cutting table, work surface, and you want your long arm as well. Eventually, yeah. When I eventually leave.
Yeah, I will have a long arm.
Yeah.
But that is very expensive and not going to happen for quite a while.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy with my area. When I first saw my desk and the 2 shelves I was going to have in the boxes, I thought, oh no.
Well, it wasn't just the 2 shelves, it was your fabric was going to go somewhere else, but we've rearranged it so your fabric is now...
Yes, and now I'm all together in a... I am extremely happy.
Yeah, so my answer to that question was that quilting and dressmaking are some of your hobbies.
Yes.
Not all of your hobbies.
No.
You have many other hobbies as well, and that it actually is my full-time occupation, and that's why I have way more stuff and way more space in there, is because I have more stuff. We set the room up with getting your desk situated first and then working around where my desk would then go. So whilst I do have a lot of stuff and space in there,
it's your job.
Yeah, and it's not me taking over and not allowing you to have that space. And I also said that apart from fabric, you're welcome to everything else in there.
Exactly.
So
I mean,
yeah,
to all sorts.
Yeah. So yeah, we're on the same page. But there's a couple of people concerned that I was edging you out.
I knit, I garden.
Bake.
And all my knitting stuff is in my walk-in cupboard that Sean helped me,
which they haven't seen.
The building of.
They haven't seen yet, but it's nearly finished, so they will soon.
Finished, yes.
So
I have a knitting room as well.
Yes. So yeah,
I'm very happy.
This is good. I will say again, Mum picked that corner. Like when we were placing our sewing tables, that was the corner that she wanted to be in. That was the position she wanted to be in. We did try a few other positions, but this was the one that worked best, and that is where she wanted to be. So yeah, I'm not completely taking over, although I have got a lot more stuff in here than Mum has. It is my full-time job and it is Mum's hobby, so I'll just say that. The back of the door would be a fabulous place to put a mirror, but this door is being replaced with one with 2 glass panes in it, so it's see-through. So this is not going to be a sustainable place to put a mirror for the new door comes next week, I think. So I have found a 38cm wide by 110cm bathroom mirror that is going to fit perfectly there. So that's where the mirror is going to go. What else have you guys been asking about? I think that was it for all the questions that I saw on the video that went up yesterday. It was mainly about put the mirror on the back of the door, put the mirror on the doors that are going on the cupboards, or going on the bookcases, and aren't you worried about dust and sunlight damage? So yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I fully intend to do a proper kind of sewing studio update tour. I'm going to show you what it started out life looking like. I've shown a quick sneak peek to the patrons, but I don't think you guys have seen it from when it started, and I have got footage of it starting from its life as a garage to what it is now. So I'm going to do a full tour video of this is what we were working with, this is how we got it to where it is now, and this is how I've filled, decorated and organised it. I've been collecting fabric and patterns for 20 odd years now. The paper crafting stuff probably about 8 or 9 years, maybe, no, it's probably 10. nearly 10 years now as well, so a lot of this stuff is stuff that I've had for a very, very long time. It's not something that I went out and went, oh, I want to start doing this, and bought all of it in one go. It's accumulated over a very long period of time. I have a lot of stuff that is very nice to have, but that you don't need to start sewing. I'm not saying in any way that you won't be able to sew if you don't have all of these things, because you totally can, totally can. I just happen to have all these things because, as I say, I've been collecting and putting this together for it's a culmination of 20 years of my hobby and obsession. So I have an amazing space, I have a lot of stuff. You don't need all this stuff or this space to sew. It's just, this is where I am in the situation that we have. When we were looking for houses, we moved because the last place that we lived was on an incline like this. The back garden is huge and just was inaccessible for Dad, and gardening is one of his great joys. So we moved house because we needed to find somewhere flat. One of the specific requirements that there was a space like this for a sewing studio, because it's my job, but also because it is a big part of Mum's life as well. So I'm very lucky that my parents decided that that was a priority when buying a house. Yes, I do live with my parents still. I have lived by myself. I moved back to the island 7 years ago now, to an empty house because they were working abroad. So I came back to house sit because I'd started my own business, and prices of rent in London are incredibly high, especially when you've just started your own business and gone from a really lucrative job that was paying a lot of money to something that has only started recently to become profitable. I am very lucky that my parents let me come have their house. They built me a house in the last place, which was amazing of them. When they decided they wanted to move, they specifically said that there was room for me wherever we ended up moving to, and that the sewing room was a priority. So yes, I do live with my parents. That's not going to change for a good couple of years, I don't think, because I don't want to move out and pay rent somewhere when I could move out and buy somewhere. So my goal for the next couple of years is to save up as much for a deposit and a mortgage as possible. As I say, the business started becoming profitable a couple of years ago, and then this last year's happened, which has knocked that for 6. My plans have been delayed by a couple of years, but I do intend to have a place of my own eventually, and it will be probably somewhere close to here because this is going to remain as the workspace sewing studio. So I'll go home and then I'll come back to work here when I need to work. I think that's pretty much all the questions that everybody was asking. Oh, lots of you have been commenting that you like my natural hair colour. It's brown, it's fine. There's a lot of grey in there. I prefer red. I am going red again. I just have had to wait till the 29th of April for an appointment to see my hairdresser. Thank you for saying that you like the hair like this, but it's going back to the red because I love being a redhead. I can't think of anything else that you guys have been asking that I haven't been able to answer. But if you do have a question, let me know in the comment section down below and I will do my best to answer it for you. I think that's it. So I hope you've enjoyed this impromptu little Q&A session, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!